Welcome back, everyone, to Casually Becoming CEO. Today, we're going to be doing like a deep dive, into Tony Robbins.
Oh, cool.
He sent this amazing interview over that he did with Chris Williamson.
Oh, yeah. Chris always gets amazing guests.
I know, and Tony Robbins, come on, the guy's a legend.
Yeah.
So we're talking self-esteem, purpose, how to just rock every stage of life.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the big takeaway right off the bat. Robbins says, forget obsessing over self-esteem. It's not the key to an extraordinary life. Is finding something that you care about more than yourself.
He really flips the script. We're so used to hearing build yourself up first.
Right.
But Robbins is saying, look outward, find a cause, find something bigger than you. That's where real fulfillment comes in.
And you know what's really cool about this?
Yeah.
He uses this example with Bruce Springsteen early in his career. Robbins, felt totally inadequate compared to Springsteen.
Right.
Years later, guess what? He's on a similar stage, rocking it out. That interesting.
It's so true. It shows how pointless self-comparison can be. We're all on our own journey.
Right.
Focusing on someone else's success just distracts us from our own path.
Totally. So how do we find that thing, that we care about more than ourselves?
Right.
Robbins says it's not about searching for some, grand purpose.
Mm-hmm.
It's about looking at what already lights you up.
Mm-hmm.
What are you naturally drawn to? Where do you want to make a difference?
He talks about how even small acts of service can have a huge impact.
Right.
Like volunteering at a local soup kitchen or mentoring a young person. It's not about the size of the action. It's about the intention and the consistency.
Let me break this down. Robbins isn't saying go quit your job and join the Peace Corps.
Right.
It's more about shifting your mindset.
Mm-hmm.
It's about asking yourself, how can I bring more meaning into my everyday life?
Right. It's about finding those little ways to contribute to make a difference, even if it's just in your own family or community. And you know what? When you start focusing outward on helping others, something amazing happens.
You start to worry less about your own self-esteem.
Exactly. It's all that energy you were using to try and pump yourself up suddenly has somewhere else to go.
Right.
And it goes into something much more fulfilling.
Here's something else that's really cool.
Oh, yeah.
Robbins goes deep on this concept of priming.
Oh, yeah.
Have you ever heard of that?
Oh, yeah. Priming is fascinating.
Okay.
It's basically the idea that our environment and experiences subtly influence our thoughts and reactions.
Okay, so think about it this way. Let's say you walk into a room that's painted like a calming blue.
Mm-hmm.
You're probably going to feel more relaxed than if you walked into a room that was painted a bright, fiery red.
Right.
Right?
And it's not just colors. It can be anything, sounds, smells, even the people we're around.
Right.
All of these things are constantly sending signals to our brains, shaping our mood and behavior.
And here's the cool part.
Mm-hmm.
Robbins says we can actually use priming to our advantage.
Oh, wow.
We can intentionally create environments and experiences that support our goals and values.
He's all about taking control of your mindset instead of letting your environment dictate your mood. You actively choose the thoughts and feelings that you want to cultivate.
Okay, so how do we actually do that?
Yeah.
How do we prime ourselves for success?
Yeah.
Well, Robbins has a whole morning routine dedicated to this.
Oh, cool.
You know what I mean? He walks us through it in the interview.
Yeah, he's really big on routines. He says it's about setting yourself up for success from the moment you wake up.
Okay, so let me break down his routine for you first. He starts with breathing exercises.
Okay.
Just a few minutes of deep conscious breathing can totally shift your state of mind.
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting?
It's amazing how powerful something as simple as breathing can be. It calms your nervous system, reduces stress, and helps you focus.
Then he moves into gratitude practice. He actually takes the time to visualize 3 things that he's grateful for, not just think about them, but really feel that gratitude in his body.
Gratitude is huge for Robbins. He says it's the antidote to fear, scarcity, and negativity. It shifts your focus to what you have rather than what you lack.
Okay, so we've got breathing and gratitude.
Mm-hmm.
What's next?
Yeah.
This is where it gets really cool.
Okay.
Robbins spends a few minutes sending blessings and good vibes to the people he loves.
Ah.
He actually visualizes them being happy, healthy, and successful. It's like a little mental gift that he gives them every morning.
That's so sweet.
And then he expands that circle outward. He sends blessings to strangers, to his community, even to the world at large.
It's about cultivating a sense of compassion and connection. And you know what? When you start sending out positive energy like that, it inevitably comes back to you.
Totally. Okay, last but not least, Robbins dedicates a few minutes to what he calls 3 to Thrive.
Oh, I like that.
He visualizes his goals as already accomplished. He feels the joy and the satisfaction of achieving them.
It's about programming your subconscious mind for success. It's about creating a clear vision of what you want and then stepping into that reality.
So that's Robbins' morning routine in a nutshell. It's like a mental workout, priming his mind and nervous system for a day filled with purpose, gratitude, and success. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And you know what's really cool about this? Robbins emphasizes that this isn't about denying challenges or pretending that everything is perfect.
Right.
It's about intentionally choosing the thoughts and feelings that empower us to live our best lives.
He's basically saying you have a choice in how you experience the world.
Yeah.
And that's a really empowering message.
It is, and it's a message that resonates with people from all walks of life. Robbins has worked with everyone from CEOs and celebrities to everyday folks struggling with challenges, and his message is always the same. You have the power to change your life.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground already. We've talked about shifting our focus outward, finding a cause bigger than ourselves, and priming our minds for success. But there's still so much more to explore.
Yeah, we haven't even touched on his concept of life seasons yet. That's a whole other layer of wisdom that Robbins brings to the table.
I know, I'm so excited to dive into that. But first, let's take a quick break and then we'll come back and explore how understanding life seasons can help us navigate challenges, leverage our strengths, and create a more fulfilling life. Okay, so we talked about priming our minds for success. You know what else Robbins talks about? Life seasons.
Oh, yeah.
It's this idea that life has like predictable phases, kind of like spring, summer, fall, and winter.
It's a really powerful framework. It helps you understand why certain periods feel harder or easier. It's not just random. There's a natural flow.
Okay, so let me break this down. He's got like 4 seasons, right? Spring is like ages 0 to 21. It's all about like growth, learning things, coming easily. Summer, that's 22 to 42, and that's where things get real, testing your limits, pushing boundaries, figuring out who you are.
Summer can be tough. It's that season of uncertainty, making mistakes, even feeling unhappy sometimes. But Robbins says it's crucial. This is where you build resilience, character, all that good stuff.
And then we hit fall, 43 to 63. This is where you start reaping what you've sown, right? You've got experience, wisdom, resources. It's like you're in your power phase.
Things just seem to click and fall. You've got momentum. You're making things happen. But even fall eventually gives way to winter.
In winter 64 and beyond, here's where it gets really interesting. Robbins, he's entering this season himself, and he describes it as super peaceful.
He talks about not needing to prove himself anymore, letting go of those anxieties from earlier seasons, finding satisfaction in simple things, serving others.
He even jokes about how his wife, who's like more spiritual, just trusts in God and lets things flow. And he's always been this go-getter, overachiever type.
It's a cool contrast, shows there are many paths to peace and fulfillment.
So here's the question for you listening. What season are you in? What opportunities or challenges does it present? It's something to think about as we keep going with this deep dive.
You know, it's funny how we often resist the natural flow of these seasons. We want to rush through the tough parts, cling to the highs, avoid the inevitable changes.
We're always trying to fight against the current, aren't we?
But Robbins suggests that accepting these seasons can actually free us from a lot of anxiety.
Think about it this way. You're in your 20s, 30s, going through a rough patch. It's just the summer season, that testing period. Maybe you can reframe those struggles as opportunities for growth. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. It's like knowing that winter storms are necessary for spring blooms. You don't fight the winter, you prepare for it knowing that spring will come again.
Okay, so what does this all mean for us right now? How can we use this knowledge of life seasons to create a more fulfilling life?
First, it's about awareness. Take a minute, reflect on what season you're in. What are the main themes, the energy you feel right now? Are you planting seeds being tested, stepping into your power, or finding peace and wisdom?
And then it's about embracing the opportunities of each season if you're in spring. Focus on learning, exploring, building a solid foundation.
Summer, don't shy away from challenges. They're shaping you into the person you're meant to be.
Fall is your time to leverage your experience and make a real impact on the world.
And winter, embrace the wisdom and peace that comes with age.
Here's something that surprised me. Robbins says we can experience all these seasons simultaneously.
Isn't that interesting? It's like holding that paradox, that tension, being grounded in the present moment, enjoying the simple things, but still looking ahead, preparing for the future.
You can learn from your past without letting it define you. You can step into your power without losing your sense of wonder and playfulness.
It's a beautiful concept.
Okay, here's something else Robbins talks about that blew my mind.
Right.
It's about how many of us believe that happiness comes from avoiding pitfalls, always focusing on what could go wrong. But he says that negative focus just reinforces those patterns.
He challenges us to shift our attention to what's right, what we can control, what we can learn from. He even has this little acronym for the 3 decisions that we make every moment: focus, meaning, and action.
He calls it the FMA, right?
Exactly. It's like a formula for shaping our reality.
Okay, so let me break this down. Focus is where you direct your attention.
Yeah.
What are you choosing to see, to think about?
Meaning is the story you create around that focus. What does it mean to you? How are you interpreting it?
And action is what you do based on that focus and meaning.
It's a powerful framework. It shows how we have so much more control over our experience than we realize.
You know what's cool about this?
Yeah.
Robbins uses this really powerful example from his own childhood Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
His family's struggling financially. A stranger shows up at their door with a whole Thanksgiving meal. But Robin's father, he's angry, resentful.
He focused on his pride being wounded, on what was missing. He chose to reject that kindness.
But young Tony, he focused on the possibility of a happy Thanksgiving, the relief it could bring. He felt excitement and gratitude.
Same situation, different focus, different meaning, different outcome. It's that choice point Robbins wants us to be aware of in every single moment.
Here's the cool part. Robbins gives us this practical tool to help us shift our focus and reframe our experiences. Remember priming.
Oh, yeah. He takes us through his entire morning routine, starts with breathing exercises to change his physiology, followed by gratitude practice.
He visualizes 3 things he's grateful for, really feeling those emotions in his body.
Then he spends a few minutes sending blessings to people he loves, expanding that circle outward to strangers, even the world at large.
And finally, he dedicates a few minutes to 3, to thrive, visualizing his goals as already accomplished, feeling the joy and satisfaction. It's like a mental workout, priming his mind for success.
And he emphasizes that this isn't about denying challenges or pretending that everything is perfect. It's about intentionally choosing thoughts and feelings that empower us to live our best lives.
He also talks about reframing, changing the meaning we give a situation, and deframing, destroying limiting beliefs. It's a whole toolkit for mastering our minds.
What stands out to you about all this?
You know, what gets me is how Robbins emphasizes environments. Our surroundings shape our thoughts and behaviors. We can create environments that support our goals and values.
He even jokes about how living by the beach made him go for walks more, living on a hill overlooking the beach. He rarely went simple example, but it shows how much our physical environment can impact our choices.
It makes you think about how we can all make small changes to create environments that support well-being and success. You know what I mean? Like decluttering your workspace, surrounding yourself with inspiring art, spending more time in nature.
Absolutely. And Robbins reminds us that it's not just about our physical environment, it's also about our mental and emotional environments, the information we consume, the people we spend time with, the conversations we engage in. All of these things shape our inner world.
He talks about how he used to run those massive live events, filling stadiums with thousands of people. But when the pandemic hit, he had to adapt.
Yeah.
He was forced to find a new way to connect with people, and that led him to create these free online events that have now reached millions around the world.
It's a testament to the power of innovation and the human spirit's ability to adapt and thrive, even in the face of adversity.
Here's something that surprised me. Robbins admits he never thought he could create the same level of impact online as he could in person. But necessity forced him to innovate, and he discovered a whole new way to reach and inspire people.
It's a reminder that sometimes the greatest breakthroughs come from embracing limitations and finding creative solutions.
Okay, so let's go back to this concept of life seasons. What season would you say Robbins is in right now?
That's a great question. Based on what he describes, it sounds like he's firmly in the winter season. He talks about finding peace and contentment he never thought possible, and he seems less driven by ambition and more focused on service and enjoyment.
And yet he's still launching new initiatives like the 100 Billion Meal Challenge to address global hunger. It's
Right.
like he's embodying that balance of wisdom, peace, and continued contribution.
He's definitely not slowing down, but the energy seems different. It's less about proving himself, more about sharing what he's learned and empowering others to create extraordinary lives.
He even offers this amazing resource for anyone who wants to dive deeper into his work. He mentions a free online event called Time to Thrive, where he shares his insights on personal growth and transformation.
It's a generous offering, and it really speaks to his commitment to making a difference in the world.
We've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive, but there's one last piece of the puzzle I want to explore. Tony Robbins' personal philosophy. He hints at it throughout the interview, but I'm curious to hear more about his beliefs and how they've shaped his life and work.
Well, he drops some intriguing clues. He mentions that he doesn't identify with any specific religion, but believes there's a higher purpose to life. He even uses the term soul contracts to describe the idea that we're all here for a reason to learn and grow through our experiences.
It's like he's giving us permission to step back, not be so caught up in our thoughts and become more of an observer.
Right. Recognizing that we're not our thoughts or emotions, but the awareness that experiences them. It's a subtle shift, but it can be really powerful.
So Robbins talks about taking massive action towards your goals, but he's also big on balance. You can't go full throttle all the time, right?
He compares it to athletes training. You need rest and recovery to get stronger. It's the same with life, finding that rhythm of pushing yourself, but also allowing time to recharge.
Think about it this way. Life's a marathon, not a sprint. Sometimes the best thing you can do is slow down, listen to yourself, and take care of your well-being.
Absolutely. And Robbins is big on celebrating your wins too, both the big ones and the small ones. Acknowledge those accomplishments, appreciate how far you've come.
It's so easy to get caught up in chasing the next goal that we forget to enjoy the journey. Isn't that interesting?
It is. And celebrating those wins, it boosts your motivation, your confidence. It helps you see the abundance you already have.
You know what's really powerful about Robbins' work? It's not just about personal transformation. It's about making a difference in the world.
He talks about how even small acts of kindness can have a ripple effect, inspire others, create positive change in your community.
He even shares examples from his own life, like his work with Feeding America, providing meals to people in need.
It reminds you that we all have the power to make a difference no matter what our situation is.
As we wrap up this deep dive, I'm struck by how much Robbins' philosophy aligns with ancient wisdom.
Right, the power of the mind, the interconnectedness of everything, living by your values, the importance of service and gratitude.
It's stuff philosophers and spiritual teachers have been talking about for centuries.
And Robbins makes it relevant for today. He's like a bridge between ancient wisdom and the challenges we face now.
Robbins really emphasizes that fulfillment comes from within.
He pushes us to examine our thoughts, our beliefs, our patterns, choose the ones that empower us, that align with our values.
He reminds us we are not our minds. We are the awareness that experiences the mind. And from that awareness, we have the power to choose to create, to transform.
That's a powerful message, something to remember as we go through life.
So as we finish up, what resonated with you most from Robbins? What sparked your curiosity? What might you want to explore further?
And remember, transformation is a journey. Be patient, celebrate your progress. Never underestimate those small, consistent actions.
They can lead to some pretty incredible results.
You never know, you might be sharing your own transformation story one day, inspiring others to create extraordinary lives too.
That's it for our deep dive into the wisdom of Tony Robbins. Hope you found it insightful and inspiring. We'll get you next time on Casually Becoming CEO.